And the last serious poem that I'll read, I don't know what I read after is really unserious, is from part of a sequence of poems for my friend Jackson McLowe, who died a few years ago. And this part written while Jackson was alive, and we were into the habit of celebrating his birthdays at public events. So it's called First Night Poem for Jackson McLowe. I'll just read two parts of it. Jackson is, involved with chance methods of composition to poetry, something like what John Cage was for music, and the two close together. Also, a series of poems that he wrote late in life, dedicated to Kurt Schwitters, in memoriam Kurt Schwitters. At about the same time that I was with Pierre Joris translating a whole book of poems and writings by Kurt Schwitters. So Schwitters turns up in this. Jackson had written a magnificent series of poems called the Light Poems. Obviously these two words come together in English, light and night, as they don't in other languages, and you'll hear that becomes a kind of motif in the poem. That coincidence, and the question of rhyming, which is a little tricky for all of us. Schwitters fled Germany at the beginning of the Second World War, went to Norway. The Germans came in. He fled Norway, went to England, and died in a Lake District in Ambleside. First Night Poem for Jackson McLowe, Variations and Collage. Where McLowe walks, someone stops the clock. The hands are set at 23. In the rush of air beneath his table, toes are beating out a symphony. A man is sitting on a chair inside a classroom with black windows. The sun is cold against the man's cheek. Fingers on a keyboard send a message to the king of thumbs. The message to McLowe is further coded. Aiming to reciprocate, I offer a black sun. The sense of night rests in my mind, the fall of thought above the silent river. See it running through a false partition in the heart. I want to wear a top hat and to dance with what's her name. A bunch of keys is what I give you. In the black night, no one sleeps as light as you, O camarado. Dreaming of it, reaching through the gauze, the entry to the sable night is such an opening. It finds the dark-eyed night alive and counts the moon a stranger. No one will leave my table, but we will sit around until the mother comes with lesser portions. Kurt Schwitters can arrive at midnight, seated in the central row, a shade beneath our nightlight. Wrapped in a cowl, the night is hanging, moaning. It is called a cowled night, not a night the pointer nudges, but a phantom presence in the hush of night. Is it then Europe's night that hides him, England's night raids that create a noonday night, a long electric night, a gala night that turns into an empty night, an unseen night, a night to feel and touch? Is it a night that breaks the glamour of lost midsummer's night, a night that ends in death? The voice of Schwitters calls me in the darkness, rising like a cry of witness through the great primeval night. Dark wheels and axles, dark dentist drills, dark locomotives, a ticking clock, a meat grinder, barbed wire fences, dark shoes and wigs and ice skates, dark squads of people on a stage lit by a darkness visible as light. A night of shining darkness giving birth, plump, swollen creatures in the night. A night of dark red turtles being born, of corn-billed turtles pregnant with small lobsters, shark-nosed creatures, fat ones swollen in the night, where time stands still for us inside the poem, and only there the poem becomes a night poem and gives back the night. A flower like a raven, Schwitters cries. He names a night bird. In love with incandescence, Schwitters finds a clock and sets it right. He and McLowe are changing places, swallowing a dog, a cat, a rooster, both are now waking up. The clockwork world is pressing on their pupils, and old alarm clocks hanging from a scarecrow's neck. It spells out love gone mad, a night of mystifying flowers, night of surprises. Kurt and Jackson, two old hoofers dancing. The world applauds their night. A nightclub swoons. Caught in a ring of dancers, they trade pronouns as the night runs on. Night rhymes with womb and slaughter, music as sure as light and bright. A night train rumbles into Oslo. Kurt rhymes with Jackson, poem rhymes with face and light. A line of poets rhymes along the lines of sight. I walk into a hall beside my father where the walls sing Silent Night. Kurt tells the story of his Norwegian flight. We raise ourselves by inches as if we were learning to recite. To constrain is thrilling. To complain is erudite. We barter words with Kurt and Jackson in a garden of delight. And here begins another night poem, uniting life and night. The first time I heard your life poems, Jackson, I was overcome with awe. That means to say that there are times the mind hears what can alert the mind, can open it to something in the world known but unspoken, and leave it trembling at the sound and sight. Light was the voice of day for us, and life, while night, its rhyming partner, signaled sleep and death. And it was also given to us that dreams which came with sleep were an entry to a still deeper life. Sleep rhymed with deep, but you were ready to call the first collection of your works Awaken, which was a sign of light and day, except that when I spoke it in that other tongue, it rhymed with night. So Milton told us not to follow rhyme, as Blake did too, and still we follow to our dying day. Those are our contraries, you'd think, the poles we need to make existence seem complete, like chance and choice, another pair the work will bring together. That's when the light will be as lovely and alarming as the night, and the night will be the time of new awakenings. Until then, I thank you for the rhyme that even now the time affords us, and the hope to be together in that darkness, caged and once written, fumbling around, if necessary, bumping into things, adding to the disorder that characterizes living